Hello and welcome to Cloudforest Vibes. My name's Bobby, and this is how I grow orchids and carnivorous plants. Hello and welcome to Cloudforest Vibes. So today I have a really cool video for you guys. I'm going to go through my tent. We've been here a lot lately, but honestly, this is the most success I've had coming into winter, fall to winter, from my past experiences. I've had a lot of these plants now for 2 years or so, and between a year and 2 years for a lot of them as well. But I've had them in my environment for a while. They've acclimated a lot of them, and I've honestly just had a really amazing amount of success this year. It's been a lot of hard work for the past couple years to get to this point, but it's really nice when the hard work starts paying off. So I have a surprise bloom. Actually, I have two surprise blooms for you guys today. I went in here, and one of them I've been tracking, but I didn't expect to see it for at least another few weeks. It opened up this morning. So the other one I was expecting kind of any time, but it really did surprise me by showing up along with its other buddy. And they're both Cattleya types. So I've had a really good year with Cattleyas. I went from struggling more than anybody could ever imagine, and I know a lot of you have probably struggled as well, but I had light issues, I had all kinds of problems, and I think I've really gotten a hold of a lot of those. I've gotten those taken care of, at least for some of the plants. I've got big news in the carnivorous plant world. I've got lots and lots of progress, lots of cool stuff going on there, and I'm going to do a quick tour at the end because some people I know, they aren't really into those kind of plants, but we'll go through the orchids first, and then I have something really neat, if nothing else, to show you guys about one of my Drawsuras that I did not know was possible. So another learning experience and another example of things doing pretty well. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get to it. We've got lots to look at, and yeah, I think you guys are really going to like this one. So another catch-up, another tour, and another in-depth look at some of these plants and some of the progress that we are having right now. It's just been a really good change of seasons. So here we go. So first and foremost here, we've still got our yellowbird out, and it is still changing colors. It is this beautiful yellow color now. As it matures, it gets lighter and lighter. Such a lovely plant. I really am so thrilled that I've managed to get this to bloom finally. It was a struggle, but very much worth it. Stop the bottling. It's big. My fingertips from here to here are 9 inches across. So if that gives you any size reference, it's probably 6 or 7 inches across. It's a really big cluster of blooms. It's really beautiful, and I'm super excited about it again. Just love it. Down here, our Tolumnia red crystal has opened up its second bloom, and the first one is starting to undergo its color change already. It's really awesome. The camera is actually doing a pretty good job of doing it justice right now. Let's get in closer. So that is Tolumnia red crystal right when it opens, and this is about a week in. It's starting to get the pink around the edges. You can really see it start to fade a little bit, and side by side it's really apparent. Really nice plant. So let me get out of there. So standing right here, it's a perfect spot for me to explain to you, because this is right in line of vision from where I am, of how I pretty much missed this bloom opening, almost. Back here, it's my Sophronides Manticore, and it opened up this most recent leaf here very recently. It's still not even fully open yet, and within it, it had this little nubbin. That was a few weeks ago. I haven't paid close enough attention to this plant. Coming through here, I spray it down here and there. I noticed this little nub was getting a little bigger and a little bit bigger, and it did form a bud. But what I have to say is that I'm amazed, because I absolutely missed how fast it progressed. if you can see me move that leaf, you see the red behind it, and our Sophronites Manticore is actually in bloom. So I'm going to pull it out so we can get a better look at it, but that is really exciting news. So let me get this thing out of here, get this thing situated somewhere we can see it better and have a nicer look. So I've got my Sophronites Manticore out, and it has opened up this absolutely lovely bloom. I am thrilled about this thing. I need to zoom in so you guys can get a better better sense of it, because it is special. The camera again is actually doing a surprisingly good job of representing this bloom. It's a little bit of a deeper red color, to be honest, but it's not doing a terrible job, and it's got this golden color in the throat. What it's missing is the veining and the striping on the sepals, because there is some striping. It's a little bit of that same orange color, and it's absolutely amazing. So it's still opening up. It's kind of cup shaped right now, so I expect this thing to flatten out more over the next couple days, but the plant is doing really well. That's its newest growth. It is pushing out some roots as well, and I remounted it pretty recently. I think I shared that with you guys when I did a mass remounting video, and it has rewarded me with this first blooming. So first time bloomer again, and I do have another first time bloomer in here, so I'm going to go ahead and get set up and show you guys that right now. But this is absolutely one of my favorite blooms I've seen so far, and an exciting new bloom because I love Sophronites, so had to share. This lovely plant back here, this is my Brassavola subulifolia, and it had a spike on. We blasted one of the buds, but I'm pleased to say that I glanced over here today when I found the Sophronites, and it has actually decided to start to open up its flowers as well. So I'll get a closer look at these here in the next couple days when they open up fully, but it looks like we're going to have 3 of them. The third one's cracking open right now. The one on the left, or the top I guess, is open almost all the way, and this one has been doing a pretty good job today of getting itself there. So that is my Brassavola subulifolia, and it's another first time bloomer. I am so excited, man. I'm breaking records today. with blooms opening in one day. Surprisingly, I've got a Restrepia in the tank. I've got this Sophronites right here. This opened yesterday, this opened today. It's been just an outstanding season, like I said in the intro. So right here we've got some buds coming real soon. They're starting to crack at the bottom. This is Tolumnia Magic, Tolumnia Jarek Flyer Magic, and it's going to have 4 flowers, it looks like, so that's exciting as well. The Catasetum here is pushing on in knots. I mean, it is really starting to impress. I counted at least 13 or 14 of these, which I believe are the buds coming on, so should be quite a show. I am extremely excited. I'm getting impatient, but it's really worth it, man. We have our Bellina has actually decided to open up its last bud. It didn't start to blast, even though we're having some cooler nights here. I'm really happy about that. I absolutely love this flower, and it just adds a lot to any collection. It really is a special plant. I adore it. The fragrance is amazing. Everything about it is amazing. It's growing nicely, and I'm just hoping that it keeps doing what it's doing through the winter. I don't think it doesn't appear to be forming another bud behind this one right now. I think the spike is going to go dormant with the temperatures, but it's nice to have one last hurrah. That's 3 flowers this year from this plant, and I'm thrilled about that. So over here we have another guy still in bloom. This is our Dendrobium Helium. I'm going to zoom in here so you guys can get a better view of these little flowers, because they are tiny, but they do pack quite a punch. I love them to death. I've still got 3 of them hanging on there. This thing has been in bloom for months, and it is just a really nice plant. It does have a fragrance. It's kind of reminds me of roses in a weird way. It's not quite the same, but it does kind of smell like roses. It has a morning, kind of mid-morning to early afternoon fragrance, and that's about it. I do enjoy it. It's got tons and tons of new growth popping out all over the place, and the growths here just keep growing and growing. They just keep extending. So really happy, healthy plant. It's got active roots and it is doing really well, but these blooms have just hung in there, and I just had to share them with you guys because they are awesome. This is a New Guinea special. I love my Papua New Guinea plants. I really do. I think I'm going to do, I had a friend actually suggest that I do some more specific videos on where plants are from, so I think I'm going to start doing a little bit of a series here about regionally specific orchids in my collection and the variants that you can have if you go by a region. So this is going to be one of them, and we'll go from there. But finally, in here at least, oh no, not finally, but my Harryella odorata, it's getting ready to drop this flower here. It's almost done, but it's got more buds to come, so this thing is just going strong. It's gonna have to get a drier winter rest here. I've already kind of started it, but I'm starting to slow this thing down a bit. It's getting kind of crazy. It's been a really good year for this plant. Let me move this. My Bulbophyllum lepidum here is also impressing. It's got its third spike progressing quite nicely. We're going to have more blooms on this plant here within the week, I would say. They're really quick once they start to progress on and get that little fingery, here, let me get a better shot, that little fingery look like these have. So these buds are progressing quite nicely. Again, this was a plant, took me 2 years to get to be happy enough to bloom, but it has just impressed. This is the third spike, so absolutely lovely, and I cannot wait to see more from this. So let's see, right here we have our Dendrobium hemiglossum, and I have raved about this plant all year. Lynn Smith recommended it to me, and I'm super happy she did because it has beautiful blooms, and it looks to me like we're gonna have success on these latest growths. This here and this here look to me to be flower spikes. Lynn, maybe you can help me out, maybe you can confirm that, but I think we are going to see Dendrobium hemiglossum bloom again, and I am thrilled. I love this plant. Lynn, thank you again for introducing me to this plant so I can get it in my collection. We're all going to benefit from it. I hope yours is doing just as well, if not better. Right here we have our Dyneema polybulbin, tried and true orchid in my collection. I've had this thing, this is one of my oldest orchids. I've had this thing forever. I saw it on Roger's channel, I fell in love with it and had to have one, and it started out as a really small little potted division, and it has just turned into this monster. I'm so thrilled about it, but it has lots and lots of buds that are starting to form. I've got one here, I've got one here. It's got sheaths all over the place that look like they're starting to fill up and get buds in them. So I'm thrilled about that. We'll see this here in the near future, and it should be a pretty good blooming. If all these sheaths that are on this plant end up pushing a flower out, then we're going to have a little bit of a show from this thing here in the next few months. So that is about it for the orchid world. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to look at a couple of my carnivorous plants now. And I have really good news. So first and foremost, we're going to go over here. This species, I'm still unaware of what it's called, but it's the slender and long leaved variety of butterwort that I have, Pinguicula that I have. And if you see back here, it has started to clone itself finally, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 little clones of itself. So here before too long, I'm gonna have to do a video kind of like I did in the spring, where I come through and I clean up these plants because I've got a bunch of dead leaves. I gotta do better. I gotta do some more maintenance on these, but we're gonna clean them up. I'm gonna divide them again, and I'm gonna show you guys how to maintain and keep up with your Pinguiculas if they divide anything close to the way mine do, because these are really doing well. They're mopping up fungus gnats. I had a little bit of a outburst here. It's fall into winter, so for whatever reason it always seems like they like to come out at this time and in the spring, but this thing does a really good job of keeping those in check. So down here I've got this little beast. I'm going to pull it out because it's hard to get a sense of how well this thing is done if I don't pull it out. So give me 1 minute to get set up. So this here, believe it or not, this is the Drawsura that I got from California Carnivores just in the summertime, and it has absolutely done nothing but impress. The hitchhiker, this is Drawsura banada, and this thing, I don't know if you can see or not, but has just absolutely invaded every single thing around it. It is all over the place. The leaves are getting pretty big. That's a solid 4 inches across, and they do invade everything around it, but they do a really awesome job of getting fungus gnats. They really do. Our bloom spikes on the prolifera, one of them didn't really do much, it doesn't seem, but the other one over here, I'm pleased to say, looks like it's growing a keiki, or what I would call a keiki, a growth. Let me get in closer. It's growing a clone of itself of one form or another from the tip of this flower spike, which is pretty cool. So we're going to have more of this coming very shortly. There's 2 plants that I can see inside the pot, and this plant itself has really come along quite nicely. It has probably quintupled in size at least, to combine the 2 of them together, and you can see here the sticky dewdrops and everything else. It mops up fungus gnats, little flying insects, and anything else that tends to get their way in here from the outside. So this is really cool news. Again, I did not know that they would do this. I did not know they would clone themselves from their flower spikes. But I'm hoping this other one does. It's got a little bit of a green nubbin on the end, and I think that's what this one started like. So I'm going to let them go a little further, and when I do my maintenance video, we'll circle back on this, and I will show you how to propagate these, because I need to do some research, but I would love to show you guys. So that's that. Let me show you one more thing. So last but not least, with our carnivorous update, I'm pleased to say this is my Venus flytrap. It is starting to go dormant. It's getting these smaller traps. They're really tucked down. They're kind of tight to the pot, if you can see that. But it's doing really well. Don't take any of the brown traps for granted. All these are very well fed, and it does this. Some of the longer traps die off during the winter time, and yeah, it goes relatively dormant. It has it needs a dormancy period, actually. I really should be growing this outside or semi-outside, but I don't have the ability to do that. So I grow this in my windowsill. The window gets opened up at night. It gets quite cool air. This probably gets, 40s, something close to that in the fall. Right now it's getting down to mid-40s at night. So this gets direct air from the outside, and that's how I'm able to manipulate this into doing what it's supposed to do naturally by going dormant. So the proof is in the pudding. Smaller, lower lying little traps. My plan is working so far. Hopefully I can keep growing this thing long term. I do not know whether or not to divide this now when I do my maintenance video coming up here soon, or if I need to wait, but I'm thinking about going ahead and getting it done with, because this is probably 3, 4, 5 plants at least in this little pot, and I want to get them separated so they can be happy. We will do that here soon, either way. So thanks for joining me. That's my update for today in the tent, and I do hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I know some people aren't into the carnivorous plants and all. Some people are, so I figured I'd separate them out. I hope you guys enjoyed it, all you orchid people and everything. They are bizarre, and some of them are honestly really beneficial companion plants to have with your orchids, especially the ones with sticky leaves like Pinguiculas, butterworts, and things like Pinguiculas, Drawsuras, and things like that. So that is exciting. Oh, you know what? I have one more thing to show you in the tent, so let me stop this sign off and we will do it on something pretty cool, because I had a carnivorous plant that is still kind of dead in my mind. Let me get that back where it goes. That's actually doing really, really well, so I'll be right back. So this is my Drawsura capensis. I did almost forget about this guy. He almost died. It was down to one leaf. Everything turned brown, everything fell off. I don't know if that's what it does in the hotter months or whatever. I need to do some more research and dig into this thing, but I am pleased to say, very excited, if you can't tell by how fast I'm talking. Since the weather has started to get cooler, this plant has really started to bounce back in an amazing way. It looks better than it did when I got it now, and it is growing pretty rapidly. It's got all these new growths coming out and starting to open up in the middle, and then the ones that it has opened since the last month or so, month and a half at most, they have really bounced back. I almost ignored this plant, which is why I forgot about it, of course, but I did look down one day and it had a really nice surprise for me because it's alive. So that's our Drawsura capensis, and this really is going to close out our carnivorous plant video. I know a lot of you probably want to see the Nepenthes, but I'm going to save that for another video that I have coming soon, because that monster needs to get dealt with. It needs a repot. It might need to get the main vine cut, as much as that pains me to say, but that'll be in another upcoming video here soon. So thank you guys. I do appreciate you all. I hope you're all staying safe, and until next time, happy growing. Hello and welcome to Cloudforest Vibes. I don't know where I was going to go with that, actually. I literally sat in this greenhouse for like an hour and just looked at things, and I totally blanked everything I was going to say. Take two. Wow. Oh, there you go. See? Everything happens for a reason. Forgot to silence the phone as well. Hey.